Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the Nintendo Famicom system. We're on the second ice floor in the Mysidia Tower here, the 5th floor in total. So we're basically almost halfway up the tower. There's 10 floors in total. So we're on our way to the second boss. There are 3 bosses in total. So this one is going to be the Ice Gigas. So we already took out the Fire Gigas 2 floors back. So, yep, and then after that we just have the Thunder Gigas to take care of. But let's not focus on him right now. Let's focus on the boss coming up. So one of the good things about the boss coming up is we'll be able to give pretty much everybody protection from ice. So, like the Fire Gigas, the Ice Gigas will cast an elemental spell based on his element, and then you have the non-elemental spell of the Throw Stone that does physical damage. But we're actually using armor right now, so it's not that bad. So as we're able to tank stuff like the bombs exploding. So. But once again, like I said in the last episode, these floors, we don't have random encounters when we step into the icy water. So to make up for it, they give pretty high encounter rates on the non-damage tile floors. So yeah, we're doing a lot of fighting here, but that's okay. Like I said, it'll help build up our stats. So yeah, we don't have too much more of the game to go. So. We have 4 more dungeons after this, so, but all the dungeons will be long, just like this one, so, yep, we're in the home stretch of the game, but, so, we have one more treasure chest to get on this floor, the Ice Brand, the Ice Sword, basically, so, saving the swords for last. Yeah, we're getting a whole bunch of swords here. Booker has the Fire Sword right now. He'll eventually get the Ice Sword, and then Fess will get the Fire Sword passed down to him. But we'll keep Booker, I guess, on the Fire Sword, just because we're going to be fighting a monster that the Ice Gigas that's weak to fire, so it'll help him out a little bit there. So, and the Ice Sword won't, like I said in the last one, you're still doing damage, even though, like, you might think, like why would you know, it wouldn't be effective to use the Ice Sword against an Ice Gigas, but the element, even though it's the same element, you're still going to deal damage to things because you're cutting it with a sword, so you're just not getting that extra bonus 20 attack power that if you attacked it with the elemental weakness sword. So some more of these fun little imp monsters here. We're getting tired of running into them, but thankfully we don't have to worry about them after we get out of this tower. We will worry about some new monsters, though, when we get out of this tower. Once you get out of this tower, actually, once you complete this tower, the overworld monsters in most locations will change, as will the monsters in the sea. So, but that's a welcome change, because for the most part, most of the monsters we've been running into, you know, have been, you know, really weak. You know, there's no point in fighting like level 1, level 2, level 3 monsters anymore, because our stats on levels for like weapons and stuff are so much higher. So yeah, we've got, in the span of a few episodes, we got an Earth Sword, we got a Fire Sword, and an Ice Sword. So yeah, it's crazy. So all the stuff that we're getting all of a sudden, they're just handing equipment out to us in like a silver platter. So, but so we're going to, like I said, try to make sure that all our characters have you know, resistances to ice, so we'll switch gear around here as needed. So just looking at stuff here. So we go there. The ice, he has protection from ice from the ice armor. Yeah, the armors are weird that they protect against their own element. So that's good for that there. So. See, just checking out how my armor is going to be. So we know that Fess has protection from all the elements because of the ribbon, Now Booker will have protection from ice because of the flame, and Maxine. I'm saying Maria because that's her canon name. Maxine has protection because she has 2 shields equipped. So, just for that, like I said, the elemental resistances, she has a flame and an ice shield. So, and then her gold pin prevents, helps protect against poison. So, all she needs is something diamond to protect against lightning. But eventually we'll get a ribbon for her, so... But that'll be much, much later in the game, so... Annoying undead to take care of. Just, remember, the main thing to remember about undead is you can't use your drain or your osmos on them, so... Maxine will have to use some osmos on the boss coming up, so... And like the fire gigas, we got this guy here, we just talk with him and then he'll transform into the gigas. He'll transform from the mage into his gigas form. So one thing you could do, like I said, we're protected against his ice attacks by the armor that we have equipped here. One thing you could do, sort of how when we fought the soul monster, the red soul back in Cashwan Keep, basically we ran out of MP. You could osmos bosses MP away, and then they can only use their physical attacks. But these guys can fall pretty easily thanks to their elemental weaknesses. So, like I said, probably 2 shots of Maxine's fire spell would probably do this guy in. But hey, this time we actually got a preemptive strike on him. I guess we knew that he was going to change. When we fought the fire gigas, we got an unexpected attack, so he attacked us first, so... Yeah, it was just luck of the draw. It wasn't like, that wasn't like something that happens in-game. Like, it's not like you're guaranteed that the first time you fight the fire gigas that you're going to get an unexpected attack. And it's not like you're going to surprise this guy all the time. Like I said, it's just luck of the draw, I guess, luck of the random numbers. So yeah, this blizzard spell shouldn't hurt us much because, like I said, we're all protected from ice thanks to the armor that we have equipped. So, yeah, heavy armor actually starts becoming a little bit useful toward the end of the game because it actually has elemental resistances. So where the regular heavy armor at the beginning of the game is kind of useless because it's just weighs you down and messes up your evasion. And evasion is very, very important to build up, you know, to dodge physical attacks, especially toward the end of the game where a lot of monsters have drain effect on their attacks, meaning it basically ignores your defense and just takes off 1/16 of your max health and heals the enemy that deals the damage to you. So we can have that property ourselves with the blood sword, which I think is currently in Booker's inventory, but I'm not going to use the blood sword. It just makes endgame bosses so much easier, because, you know, you just have to deal 16 hits, and that's it. And that's not 16 attacks, that's 16 hits, so if you hit 8 and 8, boss is dead, so... Alright, well, now we're on, like, the thunder floors, although they're not really, like, you don't really get, like, air-type elemental enemies. So it's kind of like the Temple of Fiends, back in, Final Fantasy 1. You know, it seemed like in the, you know, Oath floor you had, you know, Oath enemies, you had, you know, golems, the Oath elementals, Medusas. Then on the fire floor you had fire giants, Agamas, the fire lizards, fire elementals. Then in the sea floor you had sea monsters, you had like sea trolls, sharks, lobsters, and then the water elementals. But then you got to the air floor, and you only had the air elementals, and then you had a bunch of other stuff that really wasn't air appropriate. You know, you had vampires, but, you know, they were not really necessarily air appropriate. And then you had like worms and golems. You know, those seem to be more earth. You know, worms in the earth, and golems made of you know, a metal or an earth type material. So you had stone golems or then the iron golems. So yeah, it's like they ran out of ideas for air monsters. So we'll switch back the whatchamacallit. We'll give the ice sword now to Booker because it's a stronger sword and he's our better damage dealer. And we can take him off that flame helmet to give him the twist headband to protect against confusion and give him the +10 strength that he lost. So his robe that he's using is giving him +10 agility, and so is the Thief's Gauntlet. So if we had like we could have given him like Giant's gloves to give him that +10 strength bonus, but it was only for that one battle. So not a big thing. Now he's back to having +10 strength, +10 agility. So I was just talking about these red soul monsters not too long ago. So he had such a problem back in Cashuan Keep. He basically ran him out of MP and then slowly whittled them down. But now they're not so much of a problem. So unfortunately, Maxine went before Ricard. Their agility is pretty close. I think it might be tied. Well, Ricard might be one above Maxine. Would have been nice if Ricard went first, then he probably would have taken out that red soul on the bottom, so yeah, I think Maxine just healed up the red souls back to their max, so but that's okay. If they live, they'll just cast spells on us, and that'll help us raise our magical evasion and defense. So let's take care of that one. Booker take care of this one. Yes, he finally hit hard, so there we go. And then this fire will take out the rest of the black flans. So Maxine will eventually, later on in this tower, get a robe that'll increase her intelligence by +10. The counterpart to Fess's white robe, the black robe. And then up at the top of the tower, you can kind of save scum it with save states, because obviously if you're playing this game like I am on the Famicom version, you have to use an emulator. Now you can play this on like Game Boy Advance or the PlayStation or now the Pixel Remaster, so you won't be able to do the save scumming there. So I'm not going to do the save scumming up here. But at the top of the tower, in addition to getting the Ultimate Magic Ultima, there's 4 stat orbs, and touching one of those stat orbs will raise one of your characters randomly. One will raise their strength +10, one will raise agility +10, intelligence +10, and then spirit +10. So you can, save the game. If you don't get the right character that you want the stat to go onto, you can just reload the save and try again. But I will not be doing that because that's kind of cheating. And I want to show that the game can be beaten without using, the cheesy methods that so many people say have to be used. So, fingers crossed that, the stats go to who we want them to. Agility to Fess, Spirit to Fess, Strength can go to Fess too, but Strength would also be good to go to Booker, and then Intelligence to Maxine. But of course, because I want things to happen that way, they will not happen that way. All the stats will go to Ricard. So, but if you feel like doing this tower again, you could always skip getting those stat up orbs, and then come back to this tower later when you get your final party member, your final permanent party member. So that way none of those stat gains get wasted on Ricard, who will be leaving your party eventually. But that's kind of a big climb to actually have to do this tower again. So yeah, we won't do that and artificially inflate our growth. So all the rooms that we're passing up are empty rooms. So now that staff there, the wizard staff, is kind of an interesting staff. It casts like a poison cloud, Scourge 16, on a random target. So actually, it could actually target your own characters, and it can target a target that doesn't exist. So right now, you see, like right here, there's, you know, basically you can have up to 8 enemies. You can fight up to 8 enemies. Well, say we were fighting, so 8 enemy slots, 1 through 8. And then, you know, your 4 character slots, we'll just call them 9 through 12. You can use the staff as an item, and it'll cast Scourge 16 on a random slot. So maybe it'll roll slot 6, but there might not be an enemy in slot 6. So the spell will just cast on nothing. Say there's only, you know, 5 enemies in the group. So yeah, it's kind of a big gamble. It's kind of pointless. So we'll just, you know, sell it for cash. Not that we need cash for much of anything, but, you know, cash, the only thing we'll be buying eventually is, we'll, buy a bunch of, elixirs. Elixirs are basically, like I said, the portable inn for one character. So, yeah, because you can't just pitch a cabin in the middle of a dungeon. Unlike future Final Fantasy games, this one, they don't have, save points in the middle of dungeons or at the end of dungeons. A nice improvement that, like, pops up, starting with Final Fantasy IV. They usually put, usually have a save point, at the end, like in the middle of a dungeon, and then usually at the end of a dungeon before, like, the boss monsters, so. We don't have the Thunder Gigas there. We have another floor we got to go through before we hit the Thunder Gigas. You usually go through, like I said, 2 floors of an elemental type floor, and then you fight the Gigas monster associated with those floors. Although it's tough to tell, like I said, that these are like thunder floors. You know, maybe they should have like you know, bird enemies. Maybe that's the only thing I can think of. Maybe the imps would be more appropriate for like levels like this because, you know, they can fly, they have their little wings, and maybe palette swaps those like Helldiver eagles. You know, air-type monsters, so. But, oh well. They coded what they coded, so. So this is a kind of a wide open floor. Some decent treasure in it. Up. So, good status items. We pretty much got all the elemental gear that we are going to get here. Now, just the treasures that we're going to get on this floor are going to be like consumable items, and one of them is actually pretty good. So, well, Fess finally got an Insuna, so that's level 7 now. 1 more to go. Spider Silk, that like slows down enemies. It basically like reduces the amount of attacks they can use. The Unicorn Horn, we already got that. That's like the Basuna spell. And then the last one here, after we take out these imps, is the Hermes Sandals. And that basically casts the haste spell on your characters. One thing I didn't go over with these items, certain items have different break chances. So, just because you use an item in battle doesn't mean that it's going to be used up entirely. So you can use, like, the Unicorn Horn, for example, and it may not, you know, break. They're similar to the Wizard's Rings in Dragon Quest, the item that you use to restore MP in that game. There's a chance you can use it once and it breaks. There's a chance you might be able to use it like 5 times and it will break. Certain items have certain percentages to break. Like I think like stuff like the garlic has like a 50% chance to break, so it's pretty high that you're only going to be able to use it once. You know, it's a coin flip. Hermes Sandals I think is like 10%. So I don't have the numbers offhand. I couldn't really find a definitive source with all the numbers. But yeah, that's why sometimes you can use one of these consumable items, and you'll notice, hey, it's still in my inventory after I used it. So, because like I said, they have different ones have different break chances. So, yeah, I guess chimeras would be you know, they have wings. They could be a good air monster. They got the Tiamat dragon head there. So. Man, they're casting Blaze on us. I think some of our characters here still have protection from that element. I think Booker has the ice shield still equipped. Fess has the Maxine still has the ice shield, and Fess has the ribbon. So, yeah, too bad we didn't take out that little revenant there in the front. Would have been able to finish off that chimera in the back, because I don't think Scourge is going to do it. So, yeah, it just gives an extra chance for our characters to gain some stats. So, even though we're not hitting anything, we're still getting credit for taking that action, or inputting that action. And we're getting a little bit more magic defense and magic evasion here, thanks to the Chimera hitting us. Yeah, remember when this guy was a boss monster back in the Deast Cavern? Yeah, we were hoping, we were like, please don't give us 4. And of course, we got 4. Which is why I was joking earlier that when I get to the top of the tower and get those stat increasing orbs, that they're going to give them to like bad characters who I don't want them to get, because I don't have all the luck when it comes to this game. Like I said, if you could cheat on with an emulator like how I'm using here, but I'm not going to cheat. So just to prove that you don't have to cheat. So because cheaters never win. So and they don't do drugs, according to the old FBI guy that director on old arcade games. But come back in our next episode where we finally take on the Thunder Gigas. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.